Hello everyone, welcome to today's Knowledge webinar. How does JobPlanner offer huge savings over all the other project management's job costing solutions? That's the million-dollar questions. And today, you will learn how to save up to 80% on your construction management platform without losing functionality. And who's going to demo today the webinar is Bart Adamson, the Director of Operations of JobPlanner. He previously co-founded and was the COO of Pantera Tools for 14 years, and is an expert in creating robust, highly customized construction software proven to improve collaboration and improve profits. So he's the right person for you. This is the catalog page where you can find JobPlanner on Knowledge. Knowledge is changing the way designers purchase 3D software, offering more choices, more freedom, best advice, and faster service. Check us out at knowledge.com. And now I will share Bart's screen so he can take over and show you all the advantage of using JobPlanner. Take it away, Bart.
Thank you. All right, well, my goal today is to show you our software at a high level and show you how the sophistication of our software and that it's on par with our competition. And if it's on par with our competition and we can save you 80%, it's a viable choice. And we'd be happy to do more demos or a specific demo or answer any questions that you might have on specific features or functions that our software can do if you're indeed looking to save money. So just, roughly 10 years ago, about a decade ago, our competition came out with revolutionary software to the construction industry. The proposal to the general contractor or the contractors was, we can save you 2%. The sophistication of our software, putting everything online, and the tools that we're going to provide is going to bring 2% of the total job cost back to you with efficiencies, with not missing change orders, reducing delays in schedule, etc. This is their pitch. And the pitch was basically, we'll save you 2%, we get 1%, you'll save 1%. And the early adopters had to make a decision. They had to say, if it really does do this, saving 1% is a huge deal. And the fact that we have to pay 1% doesn't really matter because we wouldn't have saved it anyway. So does it really do it? And it made sense, and our competition was able to show where that made sense and how that made sense. And the early adopters, the first people that came on roughly a decade ago, enjoyed a huge critical advantage. They were saving 1% over their competition. So imagine a $10 million project where they're saving somewhere between $100,000 and $50,000 on that project over all their competition because they don't have those efficiencies. And that was the pitch. And that got them, some of the early adopters, to sign up, and it happened. And those early adopters saw growth, and they saw their companies grow more than their competition. And they had basically a 10-year run of having one step ahead of their competition. And it worked out very well for them. Well, right now, my goal is to show you that we have that same sophistication with our software, but we don't charge the 1%. We're 80% less than them. So in 2024, we can give you that same advantage that the early adopters got about a decade ago. So by switching to our software, you don't have to switch, and you don't have to upend your system like the early adopters do. They took a risk. They had to learn a whole new system, a whole different way of doing business. Well, I think one of the things that you'll see today at a high level is that learning curve will not be the same. It will be much easier to adopt to changing to our software than it was 10 years ago. So if we can save you that money, give you that critical advantage, and not have to go through the pain of changing a sophisticated software system, we want you to give us a call. We want you to set up a call with JobPlanner.com, and we will give you all the details of our software. But I want to show you right now the sophistication of our software. So one of the things that we do, and we do better than our competition, is invitation to bid and prequalification, pre-construction. So I'm just going to go really quick here into our contacts management system. Our contact management system will take your database and mirror it to the data that you keep on your on your contacts in your database. You can set up to 100 custom fields in there, and you can arrange that data in multiple views that make sense for you and see the view of the data that you want to see. So here's a contacts view. Here's a trades by contact view. We have 4 different views that you can view that data. We've got a whole contact management system. You can approve subs. It can go through a process where you can check out and approve any data that's changed to it. You've got the ability to have multiple contacts under customers, ability to save attachments to the customer. You can have trades where they work. You can set permissions for all your contractors. Each of your contractors can have if you have one contract in there, they will be assigned permissions automatically, but you could upgrade those permissions. We have features that allow you to turn off a selection status. So if you have accountants on the project, those accountants don't have to get an invitation to bid automatically. So contact management is one of the things we do better than anyone else. We keep a huge history of all your contacts. We will tell you exactly what was edited, who edited it, everything that they've done, every project they've been invited to, every status of the project. And then we have a pre-qualification system. Pre-qualification system is 100% customizable. We have an out-of-the-box pre-qualification system that you can choose and you can modify and go from. So we've got billion-dollar contractors that use our pre-qualification system, and they incorporate their own risk mitigation department into it. So we can implement their scoring systems. We can take their questions and build the pre-qualification to match theirs. It's got a workflow that can be built into it, so it can go from their CFO to the person that's in charge of making sure they have the insurance and bonding, and then the final would be an approval with a score, or however they want to do it. And then we have contractors that are very small that say, hey, what's important to me is I just need to make sure that I have their W-9 and I have their certificate of insurance. And the pre-qualification system can be as simple as collecting a couple documents. But we will work with you to give you the best pre-qualification system on the market. Next, we're just going to go into a project here really quick. What you'll see here is a project dashboard. And we're just going to go to project details here really quick. One of the things that we are good at, and probably the second thing that sets us apart from our competition besides price, is our ability to customize, work with the customer to develop, to configure a specific workflow that works best for their company. Our competition has a box and you need to fit inside that box. We don't look at it that way. We look at how you do business as a construction company, and we will set up our software and configure it to work the best way possible for you and the workflow that works best for you. So on this page right here is just another example of custom fields that we set up. This field right here is just a fake required field that I set up. I can control what fields are seen by who, whether it's required, whether in this case single choice, multiple choice. It can be percentage, money fields, whatever data that you want to collect around your project, we can create. And the more data that we have, the more data that we can report on, and which is one of the things that sets us apart. Where maybe you've got a report that's created in your office that is a productivity report that goes across all projects that somebody sits and builds and spends an hour on once a week. Those are the type of things that we can build into our system and have those reports generated automatically. Next, I'm going to show you our drawings feature. Every project has a set of construction documents that go with it. In this case right here, our drawings feature is created to show your large format blueprints on the project. What we're looking at here is a first issue that came in, and then a revision 1 that came in that had 5 updated sheets to that issue. And when the first issue came in or the revision came in, we automatically set up those revisions. We will OCR the page number, the page description. And when a revision comes in, we'll do the same, and we'll automatically create a current set of the most current documents. So for instance, this A00 cover sheet right here is part of both the first issue and revision 1. But in my current set, it's only showing the revision 1 issue of that current set. And I can tell that A00 here is part of both issues, is part of 2 issues. And I can see the A01 is a part of 1 issue. And I can click on this sheet. I can zoom in. I can, mark it up. I can, quickly go to each of the additional issues. So, here's the first issue, and I can have different markup on my first issue version than my revision 1. And there's all kinds of features that can be done in here as far as how you can download it, how you can share. It's very sophisticated. This is one of the major functions that is inside our iOS and Android app. So all these drawings are in the field. People can zoom in the field on the job site, have all the blueprints in their pocket. And we have a lot of customers that use us just for this feature alone. So I'm just going to show you, another piece of document management here. So we have your drawings, and it's going to mirror those in a folder structure here. But we also have the ability to add any other type of documents you want to the project. So we have the concept of a shared version and a private version, and these are the 2 main routes to the project. And you can right-click, create new folder, right-click, create subfolders off of the subfolder. Create any folder structure you'd like, upload any folders you like, just drag them in there and they'll upload and create that folder structure. And it's very easy to right-click, share, or certainly check one file or another file and come up and click share, and you'll get a unique link, a unique GUID that'll have that specific key in it that can only be used one time. And in this case, to see just that one file. So people will use this you can add your specifications to it. You can add job site photos to it, the current version of it. You can add as-built drawings to it, any documents, bid forms that you'd like to share on the project, insurance requirements. And you can collect private documents that you want to keep all in one spot that you don't want other people to have access to, and you can add those to your private folder. And we'll even build these folders for you automatically based on other interactions within the job site. Next, I'm just going to show you really quick our photo gallery. Our photo gallery takes all of the photos that are uploaded throughout the system and puts them into one easy to view spot. And it makes it really easy. If I want to share that day's photos with somebody, I can just click that day and click share, create that unique link. Or I can share, maybe just I want to share one photo out or something like that, or pick and choose. So it's a really convenient way to look at photos, zoom in. I can click on these and have, zoom in and easily go through the photos. This is also something that's in the Android and iOS app as well. Very popular feature. Time cards. We have time cards in the system. Time cards, right now we're looking at an admin view. And in this admin view, it's showing me a collection of the hours for me to approve from the people from my contacts in the field. So I can review the hours and approve it on this day. Yes, I want to approve. But the main function is going to be in your iOS, Android app, clock in, clock out. and the people in the field can say what they're working on, so they can add one of your cost codes to the time card. As you saw here, they could add, I am working on, in this case, expansion joints, or hey, I'm laying up drywall. I did 4 hours of drywall today, 2 hours of taping, and they can add that as part of the time card. And we also have geofencing as part of the clock in and clock out within the Android apps. Meeting minutes. Meeting minutes, you can set up all the different meetings that you have. You can set up a pre-schedule. You can add, so in this case here, we've got 5 meetings that we've set up. Some are concluded and some are scheduled and missed in this case. And I'm just going to click on one of these drafts. You can set up the meeting attendees, and you can create your agenda for the meeting. You can create multiple categories and different agenda. And as the meeting's going on, you can add the notes and meeting notes to it. And then you can, once it's concluded, you can send out the notes to the people that were in the meeting. And it's really easy just to create follow-up meetings. You click follow up, schedule a new meeting. And the previous attendees will show back up. You can add more, and it will carry over the agenda from the last one, where you can modify it, close things out, add new items, etc. All right. I do want to show really quick invitation to bid. It is one of the things that we do better than anyone else. It gives you a quick way to invite people out on the project, add them to a project. In this case, I added just 3 trades. And at a quick glance, I can see that I've got 2 people that are accepted in my electrical, 1 that's been awarded, in this case, 1 with a bid received and 1 with a declined message. And just like our address book, there's multiple different ways that you can view this information. So, here's just the contacts view with this. And it's, it's just feature rich. At a glance here, I can see that this person's downloaded it. I can see this person here viewed it and didn't actually come to the project. I know we awarded them. It's just my test setup, but I can see the bid amount here. If there was a failure, an email of failure, I could see that here as well. If somebody got an email and it was opened and nothing else happened, this envelope would show an opened. But it's just very easy to filter, send messages. I can just really quick send my accepted people a new message. Maybe I'm going to send them a project message just saying, hey, project update, whatever that might be. I can see what the exact message is going to look like here on my right. I can add attachments to it. And those messages are all recorded here. All the data is at your fingertips. And that's one of the things you'll see throughout here is part of our sophistication. It's giving you all the information that you need. So for instance, project history, I can go here and I can see every message that this person was sent out. I can see every individual access key that this person was sent. I can see any message failure within in that piece. I can see every drawing that they viewed and downloaded on the project. If there's ever a complaint like, hey, I didn't know that a revised set of drawings were come out. I didn't know to use those drawings as part of my bid or part of the construction. We have all that information there for you. When the drawings were uploaded, when they were organized, when they were viewed, when they were downloaded, when messages and requests were sent to get those updated drawings. And of course, we have information across all the projects they've ever been invited to. So, we provide you with a lot of data. All right, some of our field tools. I'm going to show you submittals here. I'm not going to get into, again, how everything works, but I'm just going to show you a couple of key things in each of them. So we have our submittals here. And so our submittals has a specific workflow. In this case, it's actually we can set up a couple different workflows. We can set up a workflow where it has to go through a sequential approver list. So if you have 4 approvers, it goes to approver A, then B, then C, and the 4th, approver D, would be the final approver and would make the submittal approved. But one of the things I'd like to show here is, just like in the invitation to bid where we know every notification that went out, we will show every notification that's ever went out on this submittal right here with the status of every single email, any failure, and the failure reason. Maybe it was because they opted out, they don't want to get your emails anymore. Maybe it's their mailbox was full. we'll show that all here. And a quick way to click resend if one of those did fail. And click on this. I can even click on this right here, fix my email, and then hit resend. Edit history. Let me show you another one that's just maybe got a little more history to it. Every little bit of history, every change that's happened on it. So who touched it, who approved, who rejected, everything you need to know on that submittal. RFI. So very similar to submittals. You know, it's got a little bit of a separate workflow. You've got a message that needs to get accepted, and once that message is accepted, somebody needs to approve it. So in this case, it's basically a completed RFI. It's just waiting for somebody to mark this as closed. But one of the things I just want to show here and point out is the ability to add a drawing as part of the RFI. So you can set it up, and there's many different ways to set it up, but one way is to allow your subs to be able to create an RFI so they can choose a document. In this case, E10, they can choose it, they can mark it up, ask a question about that RFI, and include that drawing, markup drawing as part of the RFI. All right, I'm going to show you the punch list here and action. Punch list and action items are the same. Punch list is meant to be part of the project closeout, and action items is meant to be things that happen during the process of the project. So they're identical. It's just a separate category. You know, so just to show you something that's a little bit different, you want to have a before item and an after picture. You know, I don't actually have the after picture here. So in this case, it's saying, hey, it's resolved, but my guy in the field didn't give me an after photo. I might just send them a little message, where's my after photo, and send that to them. He'll get a response. Again, this is all in the app, where they can take a picture, a before and after picture in the app, and see what open items are assigned to them within their app. Next, I'm going to show you our schedule. Our schedule is very Microsoft project-esque. It looks very similar, works very similar. So my little fake example that I have here has tasks and subtasks. It can be dragged and dropped, and these dependencies will move accordingly. I can drag and draw my dependencies on those tasks. I can, shorten it or lengthen it as appropriate. And I'll just show you a couple other things, some details. You can get into some heavy details of the task, see all the dependencies and successors, add different types of dependencies, finish to finish, or start to finish, start to start, different lead legs. There's a 4-day lead leg. Just like in the punch list action items, you can have comments. So my guys in the field can see their tasks, and we can talk about their task right in the schedule back and forth. Maybe he's got a question as part of it and he takes a photo. I can see that in my attachments. And, we have the ability to request changes as part of the task too. So it could be guy in the field might see an issue. He can add a change request to it. It'll show up here, and me as the project manager can decide to approve that or not approve that change request. One nice thing that I think we do really well is we don't have, it will never be as sophisticated as Microsoft Project, an enterprise level software that's on your desktop. But a lot of people have found that our software is sophisticated enough to do everything they need. They've replaced Microsoft Project. Others have functions that is important to them, and they really get into in-depth of the use case of Microsoft Project. They can simply come in here and import that Microsoft Project file, and that will load just like it does in their Microsoft Project file, and then they can share that project out into the field. Daily reports. Daily reports is probably our most popular field tool. So we have a lot of customers that use us just for daily reports. So I'm going back to September here because I got September set up. And just to show that it doesn't have to be a daily report, and that you can configure it and customize it the way that you want. I've got this set up as a Monday Wednesday and Friday report. So I can collect work logs, expenses, deliveries, different communications, inspections on every day. So in this case, on this day, I've got a little work log. I've got some notes. I kept track of delivery in this case. But on this Monday, I've only set up one survey question, one question that I want to ask to my guys out in the field, my superintendent in this case. Same on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I've got that same question I want to ask. On Friday, I want to add some additional safety questions to that. So I've got my one question I'm asking every single day, but on Friday it's safety day. So I've got safety questions that I want to add. And like anything, you can add notes to it. You can add files to it. You can add your photos on the project to each daily report. We will take that and make a nice little report that you can share. Some different options when creating that report. What do I want to see on it? Maybe I don't want to see weather. I can uncheck that. It can change kind of how you want the photos to show up on that report. So this report, it gets made automatically. It have your logo up on the top. All the things, in this case, we left weather on, and a nice little thumbnail of each of the photos that we have. And if you want to see the full photo, you can click on it and open it up and download the full version of the file. And there's some other features too. You can create a weekly summary of all your daily reports. Maybe your owner doesn't need to see, or your project manager back at the office doesn't need to see daily. They just want to see it on a weekly basis. You can do that. And you can really do a lot with this. You can create multiple different templates that you can use across projects and add those templates to the project. You can decide which days that those different templates will show up on. So here's where you can see that my safety questions are only coming up on Friday, and a bunch of different other features too. And so this has become rapidly one of our most favorite tools. And daily reports, action items, punch list, RFIs, schedule, these are all things that are in our Android iOS apps, including drawings and time cards and photo galleries. All right, next we're going to get into our job costing side of it. So I'm just going to show you the budget. So you can set up your budget on the project. You can add to your budget by importing into the budget. Maybe you've got an estimate, an Excel spreadsheet where you build your estimate on the project, and you just wanted to come in here and import from an existing file. Or if you don't have that, you can create it line by line. And you can either set up the budget first, or you can set up your contract first. And if let's say you set up the contract first, you could come in here and just import it from your contract. But you can add your schedule of values to your budget. And in this case, it's already part of my budget, but we're just going to add it. In this case, it's bringing up the $500 that's already part of my budget, and I can modify it. But if I didn't have a schedule of values already in my budget, it would show there blank, and I can add it. We've got amount-based or quantity-based that you can pick from. The budget is everything that's happening with a cost on your project. So one of the things that we can do is show multiple different views that are completely customizable. So this view here is a view that has been customized off of our default view. So this looks very similar to our default view. But I can manage these views. I can have multiple different views of my budget. So different people within my company can have different ways of looking and organizing the data. And you can create custom views, additional views. So I could create a new view, and I could base that view off of another view. And I just want to show you here real quick, this particular view here. This view right here is a calculated column. So you can add a new column, and let's say you added, well, in this case, we're adding revised budget, subtracting it from our forecast to complete column, subtracting it from our projected costs, and then adding our our approved contract change orders to create the projected over under column that you see. So you can, if we don't have a column that you want to use, you can create your own column. And one of the nice things within the budget is that it gives you a look into everything that's going on. So for instance, right here, I can hover over, I can see that I got a $500 approved change order in this case. I could click on that. It's going to take me to all my change orders. So here's my $500 change order. I can click on that and go right to the change order. I can go to the prime contract that's associated to that change order right from here. So, whether it's an invoice, I can go to the invoice, if I was showing that type of column. Just a really easy way to navigate and a very easy way to get back. So I'm going to show you our contracts next. This would be our prime contracts section. So in this case, I've got one for 83,000. You can set default work retainage, default material retainage. You can have different terms that you can set up as part of your setup, as part of the contract. You can create custom fields as part of here. So as up to 50 different custom fields that can be included as part of your contract. Some of these fields here you might not use. We can turn those off. Again, highly customizable, highly configurable to the way that you want this to work. Inclusions, exclusions, and other supporting attachments that you could add to the contract. And then with a contract, you can add your schedule of values to that contract. In this case, I've got an approved contract. It's telling me that I can't edit it. I can see my different totals here at the bottom. And then I can have change orders to that contract. So in this case, I've got 2 approved change orders to the contract. I've got invoice, a receivable invoice to the contract that I've created. I can click on that really quick and I can see my invoice. So in this case, I have a draft invoice set up and I could change it, add to it. I could say, all right, it's now 50% complete and change all my columns. And I'll show you a little bit more on that in a second. Then we've got our subcontracts, commitments and purchase orders. And I can tell right here, these are a purchase order. We'll just click on one of these here really quick. So I've got my billing to and ship to. Here's an example of a custom field that we put in here, drawing date, just an example of something that you could create. I'm not sure that really applies, but hopefully that would prove the point. And just like everything else, everything around here, whether it's your budget, your contracts, your subcontracts, purchase orders, all have revolve around your schedule of values and your, what your cost codes, exactly everything maps to a cost code. So, here's my purchase order essentially, and then we have subcontracts. Very, very similar to purchase orders. As my schedule. Let me see if I've got one that's not approved. Oh, they're all approved here really quick. And this would be my payable invoice on it. So this is, I guess, my bill, a bill that I need to pay. So, let's say that, I've got to pay the labor on this bill and the agreement is 50%. I can add this to the system. My sub can come in here and add this to the system. This can be set up, and this will be set up to match your current workflow and your process. Do you set up the bill and send it to your subcontractor? Does the subcontractor send you the bill? You mark it up, approve it. We can match that process here in the system. And I'm going to show you invoicing here. Invoicing, you can get to it whether it's a payable or receivable invoice. On the payable side, it's tied to the subcontract. And you can switch over here, receivables on the prime contract. And it's just a way to get to it. You can get to it from the prime contract, you can get to it from the subcontract, all sitting in here. And we have direct costs. So somebody's needs to run to Home Depot in this scenario, they can come in here and add that cost into here, and then that can go to the budget to then be approved as part of the approved budget. And there's a lot more that can be done in the budget and setting this up and customization that I'm showing you right now. But we also have the ability to integrate into multiple different accounting systems. So right now we are currently integrated with QuickBooks Online, Sage 100, and Sage 300. Currently, my test environment right here is hooked into QuickBooks Online, and we are in the final stages of our Acumatica integration. That's going to go into beta next week, and that'll go through probably a 2-week beta process. And roughly the beginning of February, we'll be ready to integrate with Acumatica. And we have plans to integrate into other accounting systems. Sage Intacct is one of the ones we're looking at. We're also looking at Vista Viewpoint is going to be probably one of our next one too. And if you have an accounting system that you didn't see here, I didn't just mention, let us know. We are open to moving a certain accounting system ahead of others based on customers that are signing up. So just really quick, when you're tied to an ERP system, your accountant, the people that are in charge of the accounting system would go to the ERP admin tool. And essentially what this is a queue. So as you add a project, or as you add vendors, or as you create a contract or a change order, those will get listed here. So in this case, hey, I've got a project here. I want to import that. In this case, we'd be importing it from QuickBooks. I can just go ahead and click import. It'll import it into the system. Same with vendors, the ability to queue the vendors and whether or not they move to the system. Here's contracts, change orders. I don't know if I have any other examples here. But, so a commitment change order, that would be queued up here, and that would be synced over to QuickBooks as part of the process. And I know QuickBooks doesn't have change orders. I think that's one of the things that we do special, is if you're using QuickBooks Online, we can bring a job costing system and features that your QuickBooks doesn't currently have. So if you're using QuickBooks Online, if you're using Sage 300, or Acumatica right now, and you see value to everything we had, contact us and we will set up a call, and I'll bring on one of our product experts to talk about how we integrate in the different functionality of the accounting systems. The last thing I want to show is just a little bit more of our sophistication. We've got a bunch of different settings, configurations that can be turned on or off. But one of the things to show the level of the depth of our product is I'm going to show you our user types. What you're looking at, for the most part, can come standard. We have an out-of-the-box set of user types, permissions, notification setups that come with the system by default. But you can add new types of roles, new types of user types. I'm using roles and user types interchangeably. It says user types here. Essentially, it's a role-based system. So I could add a new one. Maybe it's, I don't know, lead superintendent, and I want to give that a special different user type. But I can come in here and I can set permissions for that role, for that group of users in my system. And you'll see that there's just a ton of different things you can do. So you can make it so certain people within your company can't export your address book. They can't edit certain things. You make it certain things are view only. You can remove items that people can't even see, menu items. You can do a lot. And then what happens is then you create your users, and those users will inherit. You give them that user role, and they will inherit those permissions and notifications. I didn't show the notification but they'll inherit both of those. And so in this example here, my project manager, Logan here will inherit my project manager roles and permissions, but I can override those. I can click back on the permissions. And in this case, these are already overridden and changed just special for Logan. And then same with notifications. So in this case, he's inheriting all the notifications from the project manager, and I can come in and say, you know what, he doesn't need to get copied on missing or submitted daily reports, and I can save that as that notification setting form. So a lot of different other things that can happen here. You know, I'm just going to bring up projects here. These settings come with a default setting, but you know, depending on your wants and needs, we'll work with you and we'll talk to you about all the different things that can happen. And what's even in the system is a handful of the things that we can do behind the scenes to make this the best, most highly configured, best set up workflow for you. You know, so just, you know, like even right here as a quick example, we can create NDAs. So you can set up an NDA with different templates, different terms and conditions of NDAs. So each of your project could have a different NDA. And in order for people to access that project, they have to sign an NDA. And right here is different project statuses you can set up, and you can give it different colors and things like that. So it's really deep. And I show you this just to show the sophistication of our product. And I'm confident that if you look at our product and compare it against our competition, that we're on par with them. I think in some cases we are better than them, and in some cases maybe they do have a few other features that we didn't necessarily deem necessary. But over and over, the question you have to ask yourself is, will JobPlanner, we know JobPlanner is going to save the money, but if we switch to JobPlanner, are we still going to get the same level of project management so that we don't lose any money, so that we don't lose a change order, we don't add delays to the project? If we have that same level of sophistication, the money that you'll save will give you a competitive advantage, just like it did 10 years ago for the early adopters of our competitor software. So I would just ask that if you looked at our software today and you said, you know what, it looks sophisticated, it looks like it could run our company and do what we need it to do, I would just ask that you give us a call. You can click here and click schedule a demo on our software. Just go to jobplanner.com. It'll have our phone number there, or it'll have a form here, and one of our salespeople will give you a call, and we can set up whatever you need us to set up. We will go through the software in as much detail as it takes to show that we are on the same level as our competition, that we will give you one of the best project management softwares available on the market right now. And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you so much, Bart. You bring up a great point. So everybody ask yourself the questions and you know, do the math. I think it's really a sophisticated tool, and you guys really thought of everything. So what I want to do right now, I'm still, if there's questions, we'll stick around a couple of minutes. Bart is the right person to talk to. Otherwise, you can watch this webinar again on YouTube. Just search for Noveg, and you can watch the previous webinar with JobPlanner, who's in the lineup, and get a, you know, a complete idea of the treasure of this software. And This is where you can get it on our website. Just search for noveg.com. Noveg is changing the way designers purchase 3D software, offering more choices, more freedom, best advice, and faster services. Yeah, check it out. It's worth a try. Thanks again for joining us today. Bart, I don't see questions. You were so clear and really, I urge everybody to either try it out or to contact the JobPlanner team if you have further questions and if you thought of feedback to give. So thanks again, Bart, and have a great rest of the day. Awesome
Thank you.
presentation.
Bye.
Bye bye, everybody.